Lefties are losing it again, and this time it's over gender. Yes, the LGBT lobby is out in force, ready to slam anyone who dares to misgender them, even if they go by pronouns no one has ever heard of. Sky News All Star Rita Panahi exposes gender bender lefties losing it. There is nothing trans activists hate more than the pro-life movement. And despite preaching peace and love, this trans lefty lost it, bowling over the demonstrators with outstretched arms and a trans flag.
Let's start with an enraged trans activist attacking youngsters at a Students for Life rally in Richmond, Virginia. You can be sure if someone with an American flag, or God forbid a MAGA flag, did that during a Pride rally, they most likely would not be able to walk away. Finding out those who claim to be oppressed victims can be the most entitled and violent.
Gone are the days of they-them pronouns being controversial. This lefty is teaching us all how to use a host of new pronouns.
And of course, well, we're all required to abide by preferred pronouns, but he, she, even they, well, they're a bit old-fashioned now. But don't worry, some new pronouns have just dropped, and this lass is going to teach us how to use them.
Do you see this person next to me? E is my friend. C has had to put up with a lot to get to where Per is today. I just want to let Glint know that Thon is valid, that verb pronouns are valid, and that Sarah identity is valid.
Okay, per glit, what? Okay.
And it doesn't stop there.
And good news, folks, some new pronouns have just dropped.
My pronouns. So of course we have he, him, his, himself, and they, them, theirs, themselves. And then we also have void, void self, and ender, enders, and ender self. Death, deaths, death self. Pixel, pickles, pixel self. Vials, vial self.
Pixels, that's a cute one. I'm a pixel self. I might go with that for a couple of days, see how it feels.
And this Z-them pronoun user has a stern warning for us all.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. Okay, let's start, Lefties, with Tempest. She's a charming young lady with this important message.
Hi, my name is Tempest. And if you don't want me to step on your toes, move your feet.
Yes, that's quite profound there.
This lefty lost it at a preacher who dared to enter her gayborhood, shrieking at him every time he tried to speak.
This is a classic Lefties Losing It. Watch this woman lose it and order a street preacher to leave the gayborhood.
This is the gayborhood, and you are not welcome.
That's why I need to be here. You need Jesus, ma'am.
I don't think Jesus can save her, folks. I would love to hear more from her, though.
No, that's irrational. What you're doing is irrational.
It is the most rational thing
You
I've done.
you should love the proclamation of the truth of God's word.
That went on for about another 4 minutes. Just shrieking. That's what the left consider a rational argument.
To illustrate how absurd the gender pronoun obsession has become, this comedian made a hilarious skit saying his son now identifies as a pirate.
Let's end Lefties with this dad celebrating the fact that his son identifies as a pirate and listing the medical interventions that are about to happen. Very droll work indeed.
I'm proud of our 6-year-old son. He just came out as a pirate. He's known since he was 2 months old, but the Children's Hospital have been great. They agreed to pop out an eye, saw off the old hand for the hook, and also one bit of his leg for the peg leg. So it's been really good. His pronouns are P and Ira, and you will respect him.
The common thread with pronoun-pushing lefties is their frequent meltdowns, like this man who broke down demanding children be able to access affordable gender reassignment surgery.
Now, another blast from the past with this important message.
I am offended that our children are not receiving affordable gender reassignment surgery along with hormone blockers and access to abortions. This alone is a threat to our democracy.
And this lefty lost it because she's sick of having to explain trans concepts to other queer people.
Now let's hear from this young lass making an important point.
Lesbians and trans men do not owe digestible concepts of our identities to other queer people. We use reductive, pithy, simplistic phrases for political power. Phrases like, trans men are men, lesbians are not attracted to men. These statements are true enough in the context of the cis heteropatriarchy that they're meaningful to help us get human rights.
Powerful start.
God is trans, or so thinks this lefty losing it.
Let's start, lefties, with this religious scholar who has declared that God is trans.
God is trans. All y'all Christians out here losing your goddamn mind when it comes to trans rights, which is stupid, and you should be for the marginalized. But beyond that, your God is literally trans. In Genesis 1, it talks about let's make humanity in our image, the I form of they. The term spirit is a feminine word, important for the whole, Holy Spirit. And in ancient Israel, there were 8 genders. 8. Christians, where do you get off being transphobic? Stop.
You think Christianity is intolerant? I don't know, try a trip to the Middle East. Funny how these characters always rail against Christianity, never against Islam.
Rita Panahi takes a deep dive into how society went from inclusivity and acceptance to gender delusion and pronoun obsession.
Now let's have a look at how we went from equal rights and love is love to you must recognise 150 genders and have your city streets covered in rainbow flags.
Love is love. We just want acceptance. We just want equality. Bake the cake or go to court. Say my pronouns or lose your job. Your kids will watch drag shows.
It all went wrong around 2012 there.
And the highly contested issue of trans athletes was on show at a women's basketball match, where the game had to be stopped mid-match after young women were injured by a trans player competing on the court.
Now to a women's basketball game at Kip Academy near Boston that had to be stopped mid-game after 3 players from one team were injured by a trans player from the opposing team. Just have a look at the carnage.